Here we go. Who the hell are you, man? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
We are the Knights!
Hold on to your butt.
And now for something completely different.
Hello out there, and welcome to the Knights of Nerdatude podcast for all things nerd. I am your host, Sean, and I'm here in person with...
Ratatouille taught me everything I know. It's Sam.
The short roundessance is here, and it's real.
And on the Skype hotline, we've got...
Sorry, I celebrated Wayne Jenkins Day a little bit too hard yesterday, so I'm not in person. It's Chris.
All right. Yeah, so we have a lot to talk about. John, do you want to give us a rundown of what we're talking about?
Yes, big show tonight, folks. We got a couple little tidbits of news. We got a couple trailers for you. Big MCU installment coming out with She-Hulk. We will touch on that. We are finally going to put to rest our Halo takes. Chris and Sean. Chris, both of you guys went the distance on that?
Yep. All 9 episodes.
Sam and I did not go through the ring on that one.
Yep.
Then Chris surprising me here, checking out We Own This City on HBO Max, which I have been into for the last 4 weeks. So we'll touch on that. Been one of my favorite shows lately. We were originally going to discuss Firestarter, but then saw it was all bad reviews. Except Sean watched it, so he'll give a quick take on that.
Yeah, I watched it like before you guys were like, yeah, I don't know if I want to watch it. I was like, too bad, I already pulled the trigger.
Yeah, a lot of 1 stars on that one, so we won't take up a lot of time. But it is streaming and it is a horror movie and semi-IP-ish since it's Stephen King.
Yeah.
Then we all saw The Lost City, which is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Rom-com with Sandra Bullock and
Channing Tatum.
What was I going to say? His name was Ryan. His name's not Ryan. And then lastly, the much anticipated long shelved, but now that Sean has watched the movie and it wasn't just Sam and I, Everything Everywhere All at Once. We will dip into the multiverse for the 3rd time in the last 6 months. So looking forward to that.
All right, so let's just start right off at news. So, John, you have news.
Yeah, I guess this is just... I feel like when you kind of like have the momentum with something and it starts to turn, like it just seems like you get all bad news.
Yeah.
I'm going through Netflix right now.
Yeah.
So I saw today, or I think this came out yesterday, Squid Game. When do you think Squid Game Season 2 is coming out?
Next year, like end of next year.
End of next year, maybe 2024.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like, for something that came out in October fall 2021, like really, striking while the iron's hot there.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. I mean, like we've had 4 seasons of Stranger Things over the last 20 years. Like, I don't understand why they have to keep doing this. Stranger Things, they give a little bit of pause to because it did get screwed up with COVID, but other stuff did get made during COVID.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
This
very irritating.
The downside of streaming. Remember when everybody used to stick with TVs and then you get a syndicate run and then 1 show a year. You get 1 season every year. And now there's like 2 year gaps in between each season.
This is like sort of like the upside downside of like streaming, where it's like streaming, it's like, yeah, you can actually wait till you have a good idea for a season. But the downside is, yeah, you can actually wait for like 5 years.
But I think
sucks.
it takes you out of it though.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 shows right now, Barry and Better Call Saul, that have had like multiple year layoffs, and like I'm legitimately, and since there's been so much TV on, I haven't had the time to like go through and do like a rewatch before.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe other times I would. And I'm just like watching this right now and I'm like, I kind of remember this, you know, you get the, previously on, that sort of helps, but like, I'm not really in it as much as I would have been otherwise. And, and it's just kind of unfortunate.
I do notice with those kind of shows where there's like a continuous storyline, when there is like a year or two like delay between, or period between two seasons. Like I start watching the next season, and I'm like, who's this person? Like,
Right.
what? I don't remember this. Oh, right, they were introduced in like the second to last episode.
You
and they
know
kinda had
what's a good way
character arc.
around that? Just do what The Crown does and just replace all your actors.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing with The Crown. They do usually do like 2 years in between the cast shifts, which I'm fine with, I guess, because it's sort of like, okay, new story, new people.
I'm actually right now rewatching the last season.
Yeah, because
It's
I think the new season's coming out at the end of the year.
I think they already said, because it's usually like November
An
when
end
it
of the
comes
year
out.
show.
Yeah,
So
and I think they already announced like it was coming out this year.
yeah,
And-
so
and-
I'll have to resubscribe when that
Staying
comes out.
staying in that Netflix vein too, you got to be just a little skeptical with them with shows that they announce now, because Netflix,
Yeah, who
I don't
knows?
want to say is in financial trouble, but they're starting to rethink their let's spend all the money in the
Well, they're-
world on content.
Well, I don't-
They're
don't-
introducing the ads plan now, so you're going to start seeing some ads on Netflix.
Yeah, well, they're talking about. Yeah, they're. It sounds like it's going to happen sooner than what they
Yeah.
had originally said.
It was like-
even like a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was like roll out next year, and now they're talking about possibly by November of this year they're going to start
but
doing
I
that.
think that's like if you pay, like you'll be able to pay less and still get it, but have ads. I
Yeah.
don't think it's like everyone gets ads.
No,
which
no, yeah,
will be
yeah.
nice, but then like the ad free version will go up.
right,
You know,
right.
It's already at
Yeah.
what, $20? $20
$20,
a month?
man. If you get the 4K, which like why wouldn't you? But
I mean, what is on there that's 4K?
all their original
All,
stuff.
all their
Oh, is it?
original. Yeah.
Yeah. Some movies, but
I'm
yeah.
do not own a 4K TV or monitor, so I really don't care.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I mean, obviously no reason to pay for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta see the Crown. I gotta see that Crown in beautiful 4K. So
The Witcher. I gotta see Witcher.
Got to see
4K.
all the Queen's wrinkly face.
right, especially 5 and 6.
Yeah.
those last two seasons, I really need to rink it up. Anyway, yeah. So I just had that as like just another.
Yeah.
I don't know, and also just Squid Game season 2. I'm just like, I mean, I enjoyed one,
Yeah.
but like, I'm really not.
I
feeling
was
season 2.
definitely in on season 1, and at this point, it's been a few months, but that's the issue with Netflix. It's like outside of like Stranger Things, I mean, I can't really think of anything on Netflix that I was like multiple seasons. All right, I'm all in on. Disenchanted. I am, which is the Matt Groening cartoon. I'm all in on that, but like,
Should get into The Crown.
I think there's probably some other stuff you might like on there first.
yeah.
I'm just trying to get other people into The Crown.
I'm really surprised you don't like Witcher.
I'm surprised Chris doesn't watch The Crown.
I like I said, Chris, I watched
Yeah.
the first episode and I gave up on
'Cause
it.
I remember,
No, I know,
Chris,
I'm just
like,
surprised.
it was like a year ago, you were like, you watched Frost Nixon, you're like, give me something else like this. And we're like, Peter Morgan wrote Frost Nixon. He also writes this show.
Yeah, it's really like a lot of history. Like it's not just all like it's only really been like royal soap opera, and even not that much for like the Diana stuff at the end. A lot of it's just like
Yeah.
history and like,
Yeah. But like, even the royal soap opera stuff is really good.
oh yeah, if it actually
I don't really care if it happened or
it
not.
doesn't really matter, right? Anyway, not that I wanted to make this a Crown when we have so many other things to talk about. Quick hit on the new trailer for a movie that is going to be streaming directly to Hulu. Mm-hmm. Little IP, some of that Fox IP finally getting run with the Prey trailer, the teaser announcement trailer. Now this is a Sean, you probably have a little bit more info on
All
what
right.
this
Well,
movie is.
so this movie was announced a couple years ago. It's by the director who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, where it is set 300 years ago in America. Follows a tribe of Native Americans after first contact with the Predator. So it is a Predator prequel.
See, you say first contact with the Predator, and now I'm just imagining the Predator with one of those pilgrim buckle hats. like a blunderbuss.
Yeah, like a blunderbuss with the like oversized like barrel, like from a cartoon,
I'm just imagining that
hunting the turkeys.
Puritan predator.
So a couple things. I don't think this
Yep.
was announced direct to Hulu, though. Correct?
It was
I think
not.
They
No,
were.
It was not.
They were probably playing it by ear.
I think
I
it's
would imagine.
because it was a Fox IP, and I believe it was announced when it was still owned by Fox. So I think this is Disney just being like,
Or before Disney bought
before
Fox.
Disney bought Fox.
Really though? Like they bought Fox.
Yeah,
I-
they
it's
announced
been
this a while ago.
I thought Last Duel was the last one in the, but maybe that was just being released or whatever.
Maybe.
Well, I guess that doesn't make
Because
sense.
I remember them announcing this a long time ago.
This isn't one where like it's been done and they've just been like,
No, no,
yeah, okay, not a new,
not a new
Mutants.
mutant.
Yeah.
No.
We've all been down that road before. Yeah.
I mean, it's different. It's unique, and I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. It's on Hulu. I mean,
I
that's
mean,
huge.
like breaks up the formula.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's got the I forget the actress's name, but
Sort
the
of.
actress from
Amber
from Legion.
Midthunder.
Yeah, from Legion.
Thunder.
She's the other personality of that guy.
Carrie and Carrie.
Yeah. So like she's the main actress in this. So I mean, she's
Like
pretty good in Legion.
from what it looks like, it might be like almost like we just follow one character being hunted the whole time. And I'm like, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Well, it's like her trying to save her tribe from the predator.
Yeah, but like if it's just like her out in the wilderness, like the last 30 minutes of the Gray sort of situation.
Well, I'm more or less looking at this as like if this is more like the original Predator, where show less of the evil bad, I think this could be a good movie. But if it's like, you know, Predator 2, AVP, like
Definitely put the focus on the
on
character that's
not
being
the
hunted.
predator.
I forget, where did you guys come down on the recent Predator?
I read the reviews and was like, oh, I'm treating it like Lost Kingdom.
Did we not even talk about that on the pod?
I don't think we. Chris,
No,
have you've
didn't-
seen it, right?
You like it wasn't worthy because you guys didn't
no,
see it.
it's
Oh, wow.
it's bad.
Okay.
It's like
did
off
you
pod.
see it?
I'll
did
talk
you
to you
see
about
it though?
No, I just read the reviews and then I went into a deep dive. Like I was like, this isn't worthy of my time.
Was this the Stranger Things one? Whereas like it takes place in the 80s and
No.
Yeah,
No.
there was like a kid. It was
Yeah.
the Predator, right? Different from, was it Robert
No.
Rodriguez's
Yeah, which is
Predators?
Predators.
Which is
Yeah.
in the
The
jungle.
Predator. There was like a super ultra mega Predator and then normal Predator, and it's like so bad. So fuck it. No, it's like the plot is this kid has autism, and the Predators believe autism is the next step in evolutionary.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
right. Like it's
Okay.
so like
Nothing.
I'm
it
just
gets,
gonna
it gets
slap
off the
you with
rails.
stupidity.
The plot
yeah,
it
it's
just
like,
simply gets off the rails.
it had the potential, but like once it went into the like that, it's like, oh my god, why are you doing this? This is just like it's so insulting.
like are they just supposed to be game hunters basically?
Yeah, like why are they? Oh god.
All right.
Just, yeah.
Well, it was a 20-second trailer. It looks intriguing. I'll be interested to see. Definitely be interested to see what the longer trailer looks like.
Yeah.
And what the
Yeah,
more.
what's the deal here?
What's the vibe of the movie?
Right.
Yeah.
But,
August 5th, by the way. Hulu. August 5th.
Yep.
On Hulu.
Oh, that's wow. I thought that was going to be. Wow, I didn't realize it was that quick. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We'll know soon. Other trailer, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you guys read online about how there's reports that this thing is a mess?
The show is a mess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've heard a lot of people, and I agree with everybody's opinion that I've read. The CGI can't be done, right?
Well,
Because she looks awful.
Yeah, this is definitely in the uncanny valley.
I mean,
We're living there.
have we come to? I'm at the point. I'm not expecting good CGI in the MCU anymore. I mean, maybe it's just
It's
these last
usually
two have really burned
better
me,
than
but
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess it's going back to Eternals. Like, it's only the Spider-Man was like good.
Ish.
Yeah, and not even incredible. You're
okay,
right.
so I pointed this out to Sam. I don't know if Eternals is the same. I don't
Eternals
even
is
know.
bad.
No, but CGI wise.
Oh yeah, no. I mean specifically.
So Doctor Strange, one of the CGI teams was Sony.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't ILM.
Okay.
Or only ILM.
I thought, didn't they say like they're not going to be doing it anymore or something?
Maybe. So
Like it's gonna be
I'm
Weta or
wondering if
something?
that is a reason for the bad CGI lately.
Maybe they were just like, all right, we've had enough.
Because, like, go back to Amazing Spider-Man, and the CGI is bad in those movies. Like
In the Sony movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying it's bad because it was Sony.
Sony, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if Sony's CGI department is subpar.
I don't know. I thought the Moon Knight was like not great, but I don't want to get
Well,
too
that
hung up
I
on
don't know if
It
Sony
could
did
just be
Moon Knight.
the overabundance of CGI that's just making
Right.
it bad.
I mean,
Look, honestly, just looking at the trailer, in its defense, it's whatever. It's not the worst I've seen, and it's not
Yeah.
the best I've seen. But
I will give it a shot.
truthfully, I don't really care. I'm gonna see it regardless.
as a streaming show. There's very little like commitment needed,
Right.
especially to watch the first episode.
Yeah.
We'll see after that, but
I'm be honest, like this trailer kind of turned me off of this.
I just
In
kind
a
of
way, yeah.
looked at it and I was like, I don't understand who this show is for.
Yeah, I was like, this is a weird, like, Sex and the City meets the Uncanny Valley.
Right, meets Marvel, which I just
Like,
but
I would be almost intrigued if we like went full like, fuck it, let's just do Sex and the City in the Marvel universe.
yeah.
I'd be like, all
what
right,
you-
that's a
Sam,
weird combination.
That's what you're gonna get.
But
this
like,
is-
it looks
this
like
is what you're
it
gonna
almost
get.
looks like they almost didn't fully commit to that, and that's like, oh
No,
no, that's
but
the
they-
worst of both worlds.
But they can never fully commit to anything. So it still has to be just broad enough for everybody to watch it, but not like specific enough for people to really love it.
What's happening here is we're hitting all the IP that is now going to be. We're getting a ton of TV, and we're getting. We have the movies, obviously, but we're getting a ton of TV, and they're trying to just cast that wide net of styles and in story arcs. And obviously, a lot of people are not going to like certain things, and a lot of people will like certain things.
I would say they're not casting it wide enough.
Yeah, I agree.
We are only 6 shows in, and there's still, 3 more definitely that we know of that are coming. Like, it's pretty wide. It's not... Especially for new characters. This is an entirely new character.
You go into the comics, which obviously these are based on, but you go into the comics and the comic styles are even completely different at times, depending on who the artist is or who the writer is, and the character that they're dealing with. Like they go off and like reinvent characters from time to time, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And I feel like that's what you can do with these TV shows because, you're allowed to establish who the character is, give them a bit of a backstory. But I feel like they could be doing that, but they're still falling into the Marvel trap of everything needs to follow the same kind of like
Hit
the same beats rather than letting the writer and the director take over and just be like, make this unique, make it like a comic book.
Give us the first 3 episodes of WandaVision again.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you also got a little bit in that Moon Knight too. Yeah, you in the end you had the big CGI battle, but like the first 5 episodes, you got a good amount of.
It was
multiple
unique,
personality
but
disorder.
It wasn't
But
unique enough.
there was just no there.
Yeah.
is kind of where
I get it, but it's like they're figuring it out. I think they're figuring it out. Then once they move away, away from like the Falcon Winter Soldier, which was clearly an MCU movie style film, like project
Right.
there. And then you had all that Loki stuff that I didn't finish, but like that's out there. So they're getting there. It's just now that Hulk's in this, but now that you're kind of getting these new characters, sure, we might see the new stuff. We might see different aspects of everything. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. I'm not gonna hold it against Marvel. They've given me like 22 excellent projects.
Right.
So
I look at
they have a lot of bank. for me.
I look at like a Ms. Marvel, and I was like, this show's not for me.
No.
That's totally okay.
Yeah,
they don't all have to be for
It's
me.
clearly a kid show. I'm not a kid, so
Probably, maybe I'll check out the first episode just to see what the vibe is
It took me like a
but-
month before I finally watched that trailer. Because I was like, no.
Yeah, we didn't. Do we even discuss
No,
it?
we didn't even discuss it.
It's a kid
not-
show. It looks like it belongs on the Disney Channel, which is fine.
That's fine.
It
Like
doesn't all have to be for me.
I watched it and I'm like, I'm sort of familiar with Miss Marvel, but like, yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm huge into comics. Like, I love comics. It's not for me.
Yeah, but like that's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
Not
That's
every
fine.
comic is for people too. Like,
Exactly.
it's just the way it is.
Although I read some weird ass comics. So.
You do, but those like you
Sean,
do.
where are the weird ass MCU movies?
No,
Those
they-
don't
yeah,
exist.
no, they don't.
They really don't.
Because
And
like
we've had opportunities, but
This-
we do get like weird ass DC things, which is again why I do like.
it's
DC.
because there's
they don't
no
always work.
yeah,
but.
there's nobody like one person or one entity controlling DC.
Yeah.
So they're just like cast a broad net and just like, oh, that worked. Okay, we're done with it.
Right.
Oh, that worked. Yeah, no, that's a standalone. It's like they don't. Where
It is
with-
more
yeah.
throwing shit at a wall and
Yeah,
seeing what sticks.
yeah.
you know?
So like that's DC's approach, while also trying to be like Marvel. Whereas Marvel, they're trying to keep it all in the same universe. Like, you sent us that report today. Was it from Vanity Fair?
Oh yes, that there's going to be a No, sorry, we slept on some news there. There apparently is going to be a Daredevil Disney Plus show with, I'm guessing, Charlie Cox by the.
I'm assuming because he was in
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
it'd be weird
yeah,
to
that
burn
would
that
be
bridge immediately.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no, like cool. Like I thought, the Daredevil show on Netflix was unique. It was different and it was really good. And especially since like they have Charlie Cox in Spider-Man and they also have Kingpin in Hawkeye.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah,
fixing
like
that.
so like you introduced two of the major characters from Daredevil. Good. I'm happy they're doing a show. They need to do a show because I mean that the Daredevil show on Netflix was by far the best of all the shows.
Yeah, and I mean you could probably lump that in with the other MCU pre all being Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Show right, like you would say of even like Agents of Shield, and I
Oh,
know
yeah.
it's better than
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Inhumans.
Agents of Shield had
Daredevil
one
in
good
its-
season.
Daredevil in its entirety is still better than some MCU movies in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm so pissed that I didn't watch season 3
Of what?
of Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
Because if you remember at the end, they were releasing the seasons basically after they canceled.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, why should I watch
Oh yeah,
this
they
season?
said they were going to stop
Yeah.
making them,
And so
it wasn't like they were like no one's watching these. They were
Right.
just like we're bringing it all in house.
Yeah. So like they released like Jessica Jones season 3, and I loved season 1 of Jessica Jones. Season 2 took a dip, but I was like, why am I going to watch this season when it's already canceled? Like,
yeah. Well, now
You know.
they're all on Disney Plus, so you can check them out on.
yeah,
there.
but it's like they've been tampered with, like
Oh,
George Lucas style.
Have they?
Yeah.
I thought you just have to like.
Wait.
reset
Season
the,
3 of
parental
Daredevil
controls.
has been tampered with?
I'm pretty sure all those Netflix shows they
Oh.
toned down the violence.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought they said like no, these are rated R. You can block them or whatever.
Maybe
Like, I
they
thought-
did.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
moving on.
That would be disappointing if they did. But we have a lot to talk about.
We give a date for
We-
the She-Hulk, by the way?
Oh,
I don't think there was a date yet, right?
I think we'll probably get another trailer anyway first.
Okay.
Well, we got an Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan
first.
is next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. I watched. I'm not even gonna say that. They're not
August is August 17th for She-Hulk.
Okay.
Yep.
That and Prey, big August.
Yeah. Excited.
Anyway, Halo.
Oh,
We briefly talked about it for
we're getting into that.
first couple episodes. very mixed to say. I mean, I wouldn't say mixed. Very.
I think we were all on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, after the first episode, we were a little split, and then it was episode 2. That's when we all joined up on the same page, and we were all on the same team.
Sean and Chris have slogged through.
I did.
And we don't want your efforts to be in vain. So
Okay.
What was your final thoughts?
Chris, I will let you go first.
Yeah. So when you have, I'm sorry, I'll take this. All right. Why don't we do this? I'll take this from a perspective of, I've never I don't care if it matched the gameplay. I don't care if it matched the characters. I'll take that point of view.
Yeah.
You're running into a bad show when this is Halo. Like, it's a video game, first person shooter, action. You run into this issue where 2 out of, not even 2, 1.5 of your 9 episodes in totality are actual action.
3 of them had battles with the Covenant.
I'm sorry, first episode 2. Yep.
First episode, then it was like the 5th episode, and then the 9th.
Yep, and that's it. Like the fifth episode was, in my eyes, like really good. Like, this is what I wanted it to be. And the first episode, apart from the CGI, like, no, this is what I expected. This is totally what I expected. And then the 9th one, the final, was just awesome. Like, this is great. This is Halo to me. All the other junk in between.
I will fully admit I'm on board with your opinion on episode 5. That was the one, up until that point, that was the one where I was like, oh, this is Halo, because Master Chief doesn't take his helmet off all that much, and he's kind of silent, but he's present. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it felt like it was like there were those establishing shots of just him in his armor and stuff, and I was like, that's Master Chief.
I'm sorry, but like, I just realized, like, you're describing Master Chief like he's a Victorian woman. Be seen, not heard.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what, just playing the game and just dialogue in the game. I'm like, all right, well, this is the character I'm expecting, and we got that, we got it, and that's fine.
Sometimes,
but like, there's a lot of trash in between. it's just this whole, what's her, I forgot her name. But the girl from Madrigal. You had one full episode entirely dedicated to her back on Madrigal to find a portal. And granted, in the end, for some reason, you saw this. I forgot what the little, like, the flying robot thing.
Guilty Spark.
Yeah. You forgot what he...
I don't know if that was Guilty Spark or not.
Oh, come on.
I
Was it an oracle?
I will give this...
No, it was an eye-looking thing that just...
It was a round floating thing.
Oh, that it's definitely got to be an oracle.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I will give this show the benefit of the doubt and be like, maybe it wasn't, but like, it totally was.
Come on.
No,
Yeah.
look,
I don't want it to be.
I would agree.
And that's fine, but then you had this, like, her whole story arc was that nothing came of it in season 1.
Yeah,
nothing came of it, and I mean, I really don't care
resolution.
enough. I really don't care enough about her arc or the other Spartan's arc. I forgot his name, 117, whatever it was, or no, it was like 42
that's
or
John.
something. It was 42 or whatever his number.
The guy from he's the Shocker from Homecoming. What is that?
Yeah, he is. Name? I forgot his name, but no, like, I don't care anymore. Like, what happens with that? It was epically useless, and it didn't progress anything further to the story, and that was it. Pointless to have that in there. You could have cut it down to 7 episodes, and it would have been fine. And the dialogue between Halsey and Master Chief, even with his helmet off, like, I really didn't care about the helmet. That's fine. I almost kind of like it. Almost. Keyword on almost. But the worst thing I think about this is they infused a love story into Master Chief and what's her name? McKee.
McKee.
Yeah. And they hooked up.
Yeah.
It's just, no.
Master Cheeks fell in love.
Just no. I don't, and I'm not saying this like, stay true to the game. I'm saying this does not fit at all. and it just didn't work. That whole point, like, if I really don't know if I want to watch a second season. It's already announced, second season.
I mean, you already canceled
it has been announced, yeah.
Yeah.
You already canceled Paramount.
The second
anyway,
I finished watching Halo, I canceled Paramount.
I figured when you sent us that picture, I was like, oh, he just watched the last episode.
Yeah, they gave you a reason. They gave you like choices why you canceling it. One of them was like my favorite show just ended, and I didn't have the heart to click that button because it wasn't. I just
They're trying to guilt trip you into
well, they were
not
trying
canceling.
to guilt trip. Favorite show just ended and be like, oh, Halo's the favorite show of X amount of subscribers on Paramount Plus. I'm like, nope, I'm just canceling because I was disappointed by Halo.
I know Halo got a lot of viewership.
It really did. It did. And
Yeah.
these reviewers, like, there's a lot of people online who just actually liked it.
Oh, love it. Like rating this
know.
9 out of 10s. So from I'm going to take two stances on this one, and it's just going to be weird. As a science fiction show, if I were to turn my brain off and be like, I don't know what Halo is, and sit down and watch this, it's not bad. It really isn't. There's some stupid stuff that go on in this, but like as a straight sci-fi action-y kind of show, they're establishing a lot, like the UNSC, Halsey's this big bad lady, who the Spartans are, and you're kind of getting an understanding of that. Plus, there's expanding the universe with Madrigal and that whole like situation of the uprising and whatnot, like that. It's stuff. And if I had no idea what Halo was and never played the games, yeah, I would actually be pretty on board with this show. The problem is, I love the games. Absolutely love the games. I mean, I've built multiple armor suits from the games, like in real life, that I've worn around. So, like, yeah, I kind of love these games. So it was up on a high pedestal. I knew it wasn't going to achieve what I wanted it to achieve as a fan. The problem is, I've stated it before on this podcast. The showrunners for this admitted to not playing the games. And how you can do that, I don't understand.
That's
That's
on Paramount. That's on the
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
producers.
that's like 100% everyone's fault.
I blame Spielberg.
Yeah, it comes down to Spielberg, who hasn't really been able to do anything science fiction-y in a long time, without ruining IPs.
Wait, what about West Side Story?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was. I'm just gonna set it out.
Oh,
Can I ask you guys a question?
yeah,
Though?
yeah.
So what I think turned me off a little bit, besides just not really feeling the how the story was sort of structured, or rather like the take on it.
Yeah.
It was just a very amateurish sci-fi channel kind of production quality.
It felt
that
and
never really improved.
No, so the
I
final
stand by
episode,
what I said. Look Canadian.
Yeah, and it was Canadian. Who knew? But the final episode 9, there's a huge fight between Silver Team and a ton of Covenant. And let me tell you, Halo Wars had better graphics than this. Like, the graphics in this fight were so comically bad. Like, the ragdoll physics were just like Spartans are getting thrown. And I'm like, how? Like, it makes no sense. Also, like, the Spartans' like strength and ability changes depending on how the story wants them to be.
Yes,
because
it's
like,
not consistent.
Like they do orbital drops in the last episode. Like, no, they can't do that.
Like not in the thing.
No,
like they just in armor.
they just they're in a pelican and they jump out the back in orbit and land on the ground perfectly fine.
In
like
an earlier
superhero,
scene,
like 3-point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, superhero pose.
But can't you just say like, oh, the suits
Quietly too.
But can't you just say like, oh, the suits do that in this universe? You can do that.
Yeah, but
like I don't know. I feel like that's a low bar.
Yeah.
In an earlier scene, one of the Spartans crashes on a plane. She could have just jumped out
Yeah.
and landed on the ground.
Yeah, with these.
Wait, so like they die in the plane
she,
crash?
no,
or-
she survives, like Master Chief style, where like, oh no, it's destroyed, and then you see her arm, you're like, oh, she survived the crash. Maybe she jumped out at the last second, like when he
And then
flies.
someone says
yeah.
you did that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing.
And you know what one of my biggest gripes of that last scene, or when they're fighting on the temple or whatever it was,
Yeah,
a big part of the games, and this would have just been nice to see, but a really big part of the games is timing the reload down to a T, and they did not do any.
Chris,
reloading.
what reload?
Yeah.
Did you notice? Oh my God! Did you notice? I don't know, because I'm so used to
The
playing this
gun
game.
bullet countdown? The bullet countdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
So is the assault rifle? It's at 2 bullets. He's like, brr, 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 brr. It says 2 on the thing.
Yeah.
The number 2 is right there where it tells you
And
how
it's
much
counting
ammo you
down.
have left
It's
in your
counting
clip.
down from 4. But I'm like, you just fired 20 shots. There's no way there's still 4 bullets
oh
left
my,
in there.
yeah.
I mean,
Do you think that's just like an easy thing to catch? too?
yeah.
Yeah, like that's the kind of thing where it's like the only reason why you include that is like attention to detail.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're that paying attention to detail, you'd pay attention
Yeah.
to, oh, we don't want to put a 2 on there if he's going to shoot like 20
even
bullets.
if you're like, oh, but they have 40-round clips in this, or something where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, but it doesn't work that way in the game. Like, yeah, but at least make it tie out. You
Exactly.
Know?
Yeah.
They did like the sniper scope layout with
Mm-hmm.
the little dot. Like they did it all. They spent time in it.
Oh, yeah.
They even
Oh,
had
really?
the
Oh, yeah.
sound. The sound was the same, but I'm just
oh yeah, yeah.
It's not the same. I that's one thing that I learned. How
one was silenced for some reason.
No, but if you go on YouTube, a lot of people take those like action scenes and they're like, "This is what it would sound using the actual Halo sounds," and they actually lay
but they're
over the
not
Halo.
far enough apart.
No, it's close. I will
It's
give
close.
it. It's close.
It's close enough
I
to make me
didn't notice.
realize that was a sniper rifle that was fired.
I was mad at another reason why I was mad at the last scene is, so first of all, Cortana takes over John's body, because that's something Cortana can do. Obviously, she's an implant in his brain, but can also appear in the real world because that's how science works. Yeah. So
like projection in the real world.
no,
or
like she's in the real world, like.
like that body.
Yeah.
sort of deal.
Yeah. So like she walks up to, like, she can walk around. What's projecting that, I don't know. And it's not like, oh, only John can see this. No, everyone.
Wait. So like it's kind of being projected out of the suit, sort of deal.
No, he's not wearing the suit.
In his defense, like there was all the time that we've seen her in a projected form, it was inside buildings
Yeah.
or on like a hollow deck where you can, like the display comes up on the dashboard.
What about at the temple?
That's right. She was in the temple. Yeah, you're right.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she, and like, there's one of the first time John gets her like implanted in his brain, and they literally say it's implanted in your brain. He's trying to get to the artifact. And so she hacks the code thing. How can she hack that?
Science.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is just, because of science. It's like science doesn't work that way.
Well, they also have a fairly good cloning process. Apparently,
Yeah, a really
so,
good. Halsey has a good cloning process that she can keep hidden from everybody. Which Halsey was the only character in the show that I watched it and was like, yeah, you know what? That's Halsey. She's a bitch. And I thought she was perfectly portrayed, perfectly cast, and I really liked her. The problem was everyone else in the show sucked. The guy who played Jacob Keyes was a very soft-spoken, very calm demeanor. I'm like, that's not Jacob Keyes. Moran,
Kind of was.
no, he's a hoorah
Is
kind
it-
of guy.
Well,
He's he's in the thing for like 2 seconds though. The game for like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but trust me.
Oh wait. Is Jacob Keyes Captain Keyes?
Captain
Yeah,
Keyes, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's in. I mean, he's in the game for like.
He's in like the beginning, and then you save him, and then he becomes part of the flood.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I mean,
I'm sorry if you haven't
20-year-old
played the
spoiler
games
alert.
in 20 years.
20 some odd years. But I mean, and Miranda Keys, she's a scientist in this. She's not even like And,
UNSC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she is
Oh,
UNSC, but
right,
she's a
like
scientist.
science officer or whatever.
But she's like, that's not who she is in the game, like at all. It took us
But do
forever.
you feel like you're really robbed of anything because of that?
Yeah, she was barely a character in the games.
Yeah, but she was kind of important.
How?
She sets off the halo in the third game. Like, she's very important to the third game.
Yeah, but like Johnson could have also done that. Trust me, I just played these games. All right.
And I want Johnson in this show. I don't know why they didn't cast a
No,
Johnson.
he
in
never
this show.
shows up.
So Johnson
not
doesn't
in-
show up.
so-
Not in
Wow.
the show
so
at all.
disappointing.
Yeah,
How?
I don't know because
He was so important in the first game. They cloned him multiple times.
they straight up are like, wait, how did you survive Halo? He's like, don't worry about it.
Like I literally watched you like 5 times die in the first game.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
And they wind up on Halo at one point in this game, in this show, and it's just like so dumb because like, you
It's
know,
square.
Master Chief is human, but more so, as they put it. Like,
what?
what
Wait,
the hell
wait,
does that
what?
mean? Yeah, exactly.
Wait. So what is human more so? What does that even mean?
Exactly.
But like what? Like
So
what was
he
the
can
context they were
he
saying
can
that?
touch the artifact and it does things.
Oh, he's more human because he touched the thing.
No. Any human can touch it,
Right.
but he's
More
special
human? Oh,
because
okay.
when he touches it, it does something.
Gotcha.
And the
Still don't
Covenant
know
lady is
why.
the same. Yeah, no
don't-
idea why.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense because, you know, like in the games, like Miranda Keys can touch it and she does
Is
stuff.
this just
Hey.
some elaborate argument for eugenics?
You know,
Yeah, right?
at the end of the day, as long as people subscribe to Paramount Plus to watch this,
Oh, yeah.
I
And-
guess it's a W.
Yeah, it's just like this show. I mean, you have this super soldier in a suit of armor where 90% of the time you see him in this show, he's either not in the armor or has his helmet off. There's one point in the show, they're on a planet. He puts his helmet on, he drives, he parks, gets out, takes his helmet off so he can see better. Then why have the helmet? Like, safe
I'm
driving?
looking at you, John. Do you have an explanation?
Safe driving, I guess. Like, oh,
Nah,
I want to be.
They
like,
just mentioned that it's his heads up display, and that's
but it's
and that's in the
so
first
much.
episode.
I know, but it's supposed like he's not supposed to take off his armor in the show in the games, which
See,
because it's
look.
literally connected to his nervous system.
Sean,
Like,
and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I feel like you actually do care if the gameplay is the show.
like I
Everything
said,
he's
Because you
saying
kind of
says it
started
is.
like
to-
well
yeah.
like I said
Yeah.
early on I said from if this was just a like I went in this not knowing it was a game, it's not bad, but because I know it's a game and I love the game, yeah, I'm gonna nitpick it and it
Okay.
sucks. But like all they need to do is just sit down and understand the game. Like, this is the game. Like, if from time to time, there's one scene where John takes his helmet off and he talks to the other Spartan. He's like, "Did you take your inhibitor chip out?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, then you're not fit for battle." Like, that whole scene with their helmets off, I don't care. Like, that's fine. But most of the time, they're like, "Oh, we're almost in battle." Yeah, no, keep your helmet off. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, like the ship is being pulled apart at one point when they're trying to get to the final place in the 9th episode. Like, there's a chance this thing is going to shred and they're going to be stuck in space. None of them have their helmets on. Why would you not have your helmet on in that situation?
Okay.
Like, it makes no sense.
Let me ask you, just in the grand scheme of things, was it an interesting story?
No, it sucked. It was awful.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause like Chris said, it like the whole like thing with the uprising on Madrigal or whatever, it went nowhere.
Yeah. So it's not like it's not like it would be better as long as they closed up the deed. It just seems like there's like really nothing here.
It's interesting because it seems like it's kind of a prequel, but like I don't know. It ends with Cortana taking over John, and them not sure if that she can bring John back.
Look, there's going to be. It's. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. I mean, step one, have the writers actually play the games.
Yeah.
In the quote unquote off season, but I think. Like, what do you do from this? I think where they should go is.
Fall of Reach.
They bring back the Fall of Reach. They bring back the artifact, and
Yeah.
they do they set the ring off, and then they find the location of the ring.
They get the
Covenant invades. Like that's
Yep.
that's what it needs to be.
And
It needs
Jacob
to be a
takes
Covenant
off and-
invasion of Reach.
I agree, and should be season 2.
We'll see if we get the fall of Silver Team. Like this is all what it should be.
Which I don't know about you, Chris, but like that the other Spartan that took her inhibitor chip out, towards the end, I was like, all right, I'm kind of getting behind her a little bit more than like early on. She wasn't just generic Spartan.
Yes.
She actually had a personality towards the end.
Well, I mean, she did remove the chip for that reason.
Yeah. Which, guys, you know when you're trying to suppress emotions and stuff, you know how like if you're going to put an inhibitor chip to suppress emotions, you obviously put it in your lower back, right?
Well,
I mean, it's whatever they want it to be. It
I
doesn't
mean,
really
most of my emotions come out of my ass. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
let's
we
move.
got a lot to talk about. So,
But yeah, Halo, both of us, no.
all right. Well, we.
I hate watched it though.
So-
Like, I loved hate watching it.
So
and I'm
I
gonna miss it.
haven't done this yet, but I hate to say it, but told you so.
What?
I was the one that was down. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I don't think you can make a Halo TV
Yeah.
show.
No. Yeah, Sam, you were right. And you know what?
I'm not proud.
No, but like
I kind of like.
I'm
I like the
disappointed
games,
because they could have. They just were like, it's like it's like making Jurassic Park and being like, but I've never seen the movies and I've never read the books.
Sam, I just want to applaud you for your total out there take
I
of a
know.
video game not being adapted.
I know.
well.
Yes, I know. I'm a brave
Man.
That's how I describe myself. I'm brave.
Thought leadership that we're always in dire need of on this podcast. Scooching over to really, Chris, almost the same kind of show, except it's set in Baltimore and about the corruption of the Baltimore police force, and not in space or have an alien sort of element.
That
Yeah.
Yes. There's 2 more episodes left. We'll see what the twist is. We Own This City, which is on HBO.
Sonic shows up. Just
Which is from the creator David Simon, who previously, or most notably, did The Wire, but other projects like Generation Kill and Show Me a Hero and The Deuce. A lot of the common themes with him is like the sort of study of institutions and like how they're sort of like overall just their failings and why it's happening. It's never like a simple solution or a simple sort of answer. It's just sort of this is what it is, and because of things are set up this way for a reason, but it's kind of turned since. Anyway, where this show, which is also set in Baltimore as The Wire was, differs is this is just the police, which I don't think you've never watched like The Wire or anything like that.
I did.
Right?
I watched The Wire. Yeah.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay. All right. So this is kind of like checking back in. I've actually jumped back into that show, and it's funny because this show is just like done better from like a cinematic like sort of thing. The Wire's like very like, I mean, shot in like 4:3 and like very much of its time. Like it doesn't have the like prestige TV gold dust on it the same way this does. Which this is all these episodes are directed by the guy who directed King Richard, and this show's, I really like it. It's got our boy John Bernthal also gave a great performance in King Richard.
That's what turned me on to it.
And
I think
fucking Fuego in this one.
Yeah, he is slowly becoming like one of my favorite actors of the day.
Yeah.
I gotta give him so much credit for this. Like he's nailing some of these roles here, and he's got a good range in a lot of his.
He just has like
gigs.
Yeah, I mean, just the energy he brings here too is just like incredible. Like, I mean, we could just like talk Bernthal like the whole time, and like this. What's the only tricky part of this is one, he sort of is just like the bad guy, so to speak. There's never, like I said, it's never black and white in these shows, but he's definitely not great. And I think the last episode, so there's gonna be 6, this was the 4th one. This was the most like centric on him, his main character called Wayne Jenkins. Just if you don't want it spoiled, I guess you can like skip ahead. But I mean, Chris, do you recommend this show? I definitely do.
Oh, absolutely. I had no idea. I had no idea this was based on true story until the 4th episode. Until after I binged all 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And after I looked online, I'm like, what is this about? Because this is very much The Wire here, just on the opposite side. And I look at, sure enough, what you said. It's written by the guy who did The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know. And I definitely got those vibes, and I realized now that there was a reason for that. But I didn't know it was true, and then I just looked, and I haven't read, so I don't know what happens. So I'm staying away from that, because I want to see how the show plays out. Like, for the longest time, up until maybe up until like the 3rd episode, I'm like, is John Barenthal a bad guy? Or is he... Well, because there's...
Well, you end the first episode getting arrested.
Well, yeah,
right?
He got it, yeah. But
so there's a whole weird thing with this. Sorry, just real quick. There's a whole weird sort of like story mechanism here where there's a lot of jumping around different times.
Yeah.
And like it's I found it really tough in the first episode because I kind of didn't realize it at first because it was like 2017 and they're talking about what Trump would never win, and I'm like, what? I don't get that. And then I didn't realize the stuff of when you get the flashbacks to him in the patrolling when he like smacks that guy's bottle in a paper bag. It's like, that was like 2003. That was way back.
Yeah. The time jumps are a little tricky. The time jumps are still a little tricky because sometimes they don't actually give you the
date.
year.
You have to like figure out the facial hair and the haircut and all that.
Everybody has frosted tips.
Well, our guy definitely does.
Well, it's
at one point he's got some like really
Barenthal's character. You could tell when it's a different time, but it's all the other like attorneys and then the DOJ people
shows
like,
up with a fro.
Those are hard.
It's the 70s.
Those are kind of hard to do, but like no, this show is like, I'm so happy you mentioned this, and I know there's only going to be the one season, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's so worth it. It really is.
I like too how the guy who played Marlowe is the in The Wire is like one of the detectives here, or is one of the guys on the team. Did you catch that? The guy who's kid, like the bad guy at the end of The Wire, like the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah. He's like a I guess a cop in the first 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah, he's a homicide detective, and then he's the one who when they go bust that like car wash place, who like finds the guns, and our guy gets all excited.
Yeah, and
he's just like that.
The commissioner is also.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people.
The 100%, like the Wire crew is very much in this. So.
Yeah, which is always kind of fun to see. No, I've just been enjoying the hell out of it. I don't even want to really. I mean, I could talk about this all day, but it would just be like, oh man, Barenthal's fucking awesome. I mean, it's just like the fact that. Like seemingly he's like doing a lot of this because like he was slighted because they made fun of the size of the crabs he brought to the cookout.
Yeah.
This has all been a reaction. So essentially what it is he is in charge or / a part of what's called the let me roll out my Baltimore accent, Gun Trace Task Force. That essentially they go around like trying, essentially like stealing from people, like as the cops, but like like anytime they find a gun, which in a city where there's a lot of drug dealers is like not a hard thing to do. But then like I like this last episode because it was really starting to be like, okay, obviously cops shouldn't like just be fucking stealing from people, but like also your feelings aren't as like strong about that when it's drug dealers, But then it's like this last episode really like it's getting out of hand of like, oh, you know, they're like chasing people and like other people are getting like into car accidents and dying because of it. And like, it's like really starting to like fuck things up and they're like planting shit on people to like justify their actions. And it's like, oh, this is really, you know, getting really malignant real fast. I mean, it kind of always was, but they sort of, I really like how they've been like interlacing the interviews for the FBI or the federal investigation that's into that unit. So like you kind of like get a little bit better context, even though you've got this weird sort of like time jump. But it's really good. It's like, and I just think like it's like pound for pound even like better than The Wire. But like, I mean, obviously you don't have to. It's got nothing to do ostensibly with like The Wire. It's just, I mean, they're both in Baltimore. That's about it.
Yeah. It's just the same type of story.
Yeah, and it's told a similar way, but
just different perspective.
You know, yeah, if you're just looking for like an interesting show about law enforcement and like I said, government and institutions, a lot of this is taking place like in the background of like Freddie Gray when all that went down, and like even like in the aftermath where like, I mean, I just found it incredible in that first episode when the two cops are just like, you know, arresting a guy. It's tough to tell if they're being abusive or going over the line or whatever, but they're just getting filmed by everybody and like getting, you know, yelled at, and they're just like, fuck it, and they just leave and like they just let the guy go and get in the car and drive away, and it's like, that's just insane to me. So yeah, no, it's a really interesting show, really, really good, and Bernthal's just like,
Bernthal's nailing it.
Yeah.
You said this is on HBO?
Yeah.
All right.
Six episode miniseries, so it's not, and they're less than an hour, so it's not.
Yeah. All right.
Not a huge commitment.
Yeah. All right. Sean, we don't have a lot of time for Firestarter.
No, that's fine,
so
and I will do.
Just hit us with it.
First reaction. Loved how they introduced it on Peacock. They were like, now starting Firestarter. Brought to you by Hellman's new spicy mustard. I was like, what the hell?
Start a fire of flavor.
Yeah, so this is a horror movie based off of a Stephen King novel. This is also technically a remake because they like to do that lately. Starring, oh God, what's his name?
George C. Scott in the original one?
He was in the original, and the sequel had Malcolm McDowell. Playing the Native American character. Yes, horribly cast in the first two.
Old movies.
Yeah, old movies. I mean, Drew Barrymore was in the first one.
Oh, that Malcolm McDowell plays that in like the 80s one or whatever?
Or the 90s one.
90s one? Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, 90s. Oh, it's even worse.
Yeah. So luckily this time around, that character is cast as a Native American actor. Thank God. But anyways, who's the guy from High School Musical? Zac Efron. Thank you. So this is a movie starring Zac Efron, where he plays the dad, and it's about a family that's on the run from the evil government people who gave them this special injection thing and turned them into superheroes, technically. Like, gave them pyrokinesis and telekinesis and you know,
Liam Kinesis.
I'm not sure I'm like at the point where I can accept Zac Efron as a dad in a movie.
It's tough. It really is.
Like, I'm not saying he's not old enough.
No.
I mean, he's always like looked younger too, so like that hasn't helped, but like I'm just not there, dude.
Like,
there's like so many other
he's
dads.
like in his mid-30s too.
I know.
Like, that's insane. But yeah, so like watched it, and I had the same reaction to this as I have pretty much every other Stephen King is. Stephen King is known as the master of horror. I've yet to watch anything or read anything that he's done that's close to his source material that's actually scary. He's not a horror writer. He's a thriller writer. And I would say at times this was like a little suspenseful, but it's not scary at all. There's no horror in this. This is such an easy watch, and it's a dumb watch.
I mean, it's a little weird that probably the greatest movie that based on something that he wrote is not even a horror. It's Shawshank.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say The Shining.
Shining,
but-
which he hated, even though like The Shining is
Yeah.
actually legit terrifying.
But it's like very different with the book.
yeah.
Right.
So like,
The one thing I was gonna say
Yeah.
was because the last Stephen King adaptation I think I watched was Doctor
Sleep.
I thought that was kind of scary.
I enjoyed that one.
Part
Yeah.
not most.
There were times,
Yeah.
I mean, dealing with like dead people and stuff,
Yeah.
and like there were a couple jump scares in that, but like this, no jump scares
No.
at all. Like it was not scary really, and like it just kind of ends, and you're like, oh, okay, and yeah, like the
Well, that's
acting
Stephen
isn't
King
great.
for you.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like every time, so like I think back to Stephen King adaptations that I like The Shining, which Stephen King hated, or
Wasn't it him too?
It Is Him. I've
It
is. No, so I've never seen the Tim Curry or the two newer ones. I heard the second one isn't as good, but whatever. I know the ending, no matter which one you look at, is just dumb because Stephen King wrote it. Where it like turns into a shriveled up baby, and it's so dumb. Anyway, but like that, or like The Mist, which they were like, it's a good movie because he didn't write an ending to it, so they were like, well, we have to end it somehow, so we'll make up our own ending. He was like, oh, that's actually very creative. It's like, yeah, because you can't write an ending.
I mean, literally, The Mist. The only thing memorable about that
It's
movie
the ending.
is the ending.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
so
like,
good.
I'm not sure if I like it or not.
Oh,
but
I
like,
love it because-
brave choice.
Yeah, it's such a sucker punch to the gut. Great ending. One of my
I
favorite.
kind of
endings.
like it because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that does make sense. But at the same time, like, I don't like how you just
The movie
depressed
just gives
me.
you a giant middle finger at the end. If you've never seen The Mist,
Up
I don't
the
want
anus.
to. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I just want to say, like, it hurts. That ending hurts so much. Like, but it's a good hurt because it's so like you wouldn't see that ending.
But
coming.
Stephen King didn't write it.
He
so
did not. So
Can't
yeah,
give him credit
so
for there.
I don't.
I mean, there's certainly no shortage of adaptations out there. I would
Right.
say of any writer, he would probably have the most by far that have
Oh,
been
yeah.
adapted into some sort of film
Oh, yeah.
or TV
Yeah,
show.
like I'm with Stephen King. I'm of the opinion where it's like, he's all right, but I just don't. I don't get the whole like we have to elevate him to the
Yeah.
pantheon of great writers.
He's an adult R.L. Stein, where it's like, yeah, he wrote books. Oh, sure, they're in the horror category, I guess.
It's like he's very prolific. He's got
Yeah.
a lot of stories out there. Some of them are all right. Some of them just
But
aren't.
people
but
swear by this guy, and I mean,
Yeah.
we're all,
I don't
we're
want.
all
I don't want to
New
shit on
Englanders,
him because he's not bad.
but- No,
but,
he's
like,
not. But like to call him a master of horror,
Yeah,
come
it feels
on.
a bit much.
I think
would.
Shawshank Redemption is a short story too.
I think
like,
it
Yeah.
was. Like
yeah.
I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of it was
that-
expanded.
So
upon.
I would say the best thing about Firestarter, in my opinion, is the
Oh, yeah.
soundtrack. Yeah, soundtrack. John Carpenter.
Ooh.
Yeah, I sat down and I listened to it the next day at work. Oh, it's a solid
now
John
it's
Carpenter
not
soundtrack.
like it's like an original soundtrack,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll check that out.
Check it out. It's like John Carpenter's just like, yeah, we're gonna synthesize the shit out of this, and it's like,
John-
yeah,
John Carpenter stopped playing Elden Ring, decided to
yeah.
to score a movie.
Yeah, it's
For
like
some
it's like
reason.
him. I think like a couple other people too, but like you can tell it's a John Carpenter theme. Like it's like, oh, is this Halloween? No, it's no. Oh, is this the thing? No, not quite.
There's someone who's prolific in like everything.
Yeah.
John Carpenter is like
He can do
apparently
everything.
do anything.
Yeah, and he's not dead.
I was gonna say when you said that I was like, wait, I thought he was dead.
Yeah, there's. I
And
guess,
I was like, I'm not entirely sure if I thought he was dead, but like part of me was like, kind of thought he was dead.
Yeah.
But you definitely wrote him off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wrote him
yeah.
off, definitely.
he did respond to a Twitter thing about like him being dead, and he's like, oh no, Even though I don't look very good, I'm still very much alive. Yeah,
He's like big into gaming. I don't know.
oh yeah, no, he's like, I need to watch more of his movies and listen to more of his soundtracks.
Does he like stream?
I don't know.
Oh, dude,
might.
that would be insane. No, but I know, like, he was doing a Q&A, and someone's like, yeah, what are you playing, man? And he just, like, was talking about all the good stuff he's played lately. It was kind of funny. You know what I mean? For a guy that kind of famous, that old, like,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
it's funny.
All right, so just to throw my number, I gave it a 5 too. It's not very good. It's not scary. It's such an easy watch because it's not scary and it's kind of predictable.
Okay.
Do
Well,
fires
but-
start?
Fires do start.
Oh, well, okay. So it is predictable.
That actually doesn't sound like a good watch if it's not scary and it's predictable.
Yeah,
Because
like-
it's like, why am I watching it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Incredible Efron performance, maybe?
he bleeds from his eyes. I guess that's the scary part.
Oh.
Because he uses this thing called the push because, you know, in every Stephen King novel, there has to be a really stupid name for an ability.
Yes. Yes.
So in this one, it's called the push, where he can, like, you know, use his mind to tell you to do things and make you do things. But he's done it so much
Does
that
the
he's
one
starting
in the
to get
Green
brain
Mile have a
hemorrhage.
stupid name?
Oh, yeah, isn't it? It's not The Shine. What the fuck? I know, I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
They should, I was just going to say they should remake Shawshank, but make him supernatural, but then that's kind of the Green
Green
Mile.
Mile.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, 5-2.
5-2?
It was middle of the pack, nothing special, and
Streaming
like,
on-
for a horror, like I never was like, oh no, something scary's gonna happen. It was just awful. So, anyways,
Moving
Streaming
on.
on Peacock and in theaters, if for some
yeah,
reason you want to go
same
see it.
time.
In theaters. Also streaming now, after a short release window, The Lost City, which is on Paramount Plus, starring I was gonna say Ben Affleck. He's not in
Channing
it. Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum. Is it a spoiler to say who's in there for
Brad Pitt, he was in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
In some of the movie.
yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe, who
Yeah.
I've loved seeing him as a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy in a couple things, actually.
He is. He's an interesting choice, especially in a comedy. So this is kind of your classic adventure rom-com,
Yeah.
I'd probably call it.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like if Indiana Jones was a rom-com kind of deal. Where Sandra Bullock, you know, for those of you who are fans of the 1980s movie Romancing the Stone, yes, it will sound a lot very similar. Sandra Bullock is a novelist who does these sort of like, what would you call them?
Trashy romance.
yeah.
Trashy
romance.
romance adventure novels.
Yeah.
And then she gets to live one, essentially.
Yeah. After
And
being
she gets
kidnapped.
kidnapped from her. We don't really go too deep into this, of her dead husband, archaeologist.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this, like, threads in this one where I'm just like, and why do we have that?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Did I pay a lot of attention to this movie? No. Did I pay enough attention to this movie? Yes.
I'm in the same boat.
No, that is the definition of this movie.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I was smoking cheese while I was watching this. and
smoking the cheese.
Smoking some cheese. He was literally smoking
I was
cheese.
literally smoking cheese.
Smoking cheddar
Not-
on a grill.
Not a euphemism, folks. Not a euphemism.
Smoking the cheese.
In fact, we all had some before,
Yes.
except for Chris. So yeah, Sip, delicious. Do it again.
Fantastic, yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway,
this is all disappointing.
So
whatever.
I don't know this movie. You know, look, I find a lot of comedies today are like really, really want you to laugh at them. You know, they really are trying hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, occasionally there's some funny stuff. I really liked our introduction to Brad Pitt's character when we finally see him with the True Detective season 1 music going on in the slow mo montage, and like you know, there's some bits that are funny.
Yeah.
There's also and like, man, I don't know if I'm just like so hip and zoned in on like green screen CGI now.
Oh, thank you for bringing this up. But go ahead.
But like, man, I'm seeing the seams, dude. I don't know if I have like Matrix vision now with CGI or what.
So
but-
there's the scene where they climb the cliff and they get to the top.
Oh, the mountain?
Yeah. That looked horrid.
Oh yeah, I mean, like they were.
That was
obviously
one
not
of the
there.
worst green screen things I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like that's something I expect out of like a low budget indie film
Or
where
like a
it's
TV show.
Yeah, TV show. 100%
I think this was
TV
a
show.
low budget indie.
It wasn't an indie film,
was
and it's
Paramount.
definitely not low budget. Like, look at the names attached. This was not a low budget film.
No, and actually, I do. Let me give it credit. I think they CGI'd the stuff they knew was going to be expensive, and they didn't think there was a return on it. But they did do some like practical stuff. Like I think when
Yeah.
they're in the camp and they're blowing stuff up.
Oh yeah, that was
like
practical.
that's real.
Yeah.
So like, I think they decided to like pick their battles for where they're going to spend their money, and especially with an effects budget. So I can't get 1,000,000,000% mad at them, but God, it just doesn't look good.
This was a $68 million movie.
Yeah, that's 2 ambulances right there.
Yeah.
And not one of these, not one moment in this involved a Mexican cartel sending a car full of miniguns into a police barricade.
Well, yeah, okay.
Okay,
This movie made a good chunk of money though. It
did do pretty well.
domestic theaters, yeah.
and like honestly, at this point, for people that like going to the movies, I'm applauding anything that's not IP that like does modestly well, and this is one of them.
And this is one of them. It's
right.
it's rare that you find a domestic box office noticeably higher than an international one.
Right, Sam, I feel like you've got some takes here.
Oh yeah, I hated this movie.
Yeah,
Like, there's nothing worse than a comedy that isn't funny.
it's a very good point.
Like, it is just and like, probably the most annoyed I am is like, oh, you wasted Radcliffe in this. He's a good bad guy.
Yeah.
He's good comedic too.
He's good comedic bad guy. You know, he's just.
But
He's there. He's the only one who's like actually trying to act.
You didn't like all their attempted but failed like dick jokes?
Like, honestly, I would be honest, like, I was disappointed with those dick jokes because I'm like, these could work.
Yeah.
I liked his whole speech where he was talking about like the city of the D and like
Yeah.
it was rising up and it was like it's just making like this euphemism for dick the whole
Yeah.
time, and I was like, I should be laughing at this.
I know.
I'm not a prude. I like a good immature dick joke.
Yeah.
But why am I not laughing? It's just you haven't earned this dick.
I think what does it too is like, I think what does it too is, at least for me, it's like when the movie swings and misses a lot early on.
Yeah.
It just like takes you out of it.
Very
like,
flaccid at times.
See, our dick jokes are better than theirs.
Wow. Yeah. It.
Sorry.
I don't want to translate what I was going to say into a dick joke, but I'll just say this: it takes me out, and then I'm like, oh, I've made the decision, like, oh, this movie's not funny.
Yeah.
Like even if it does something funny comes up, which it kind of did, I still had some chuckles in there.
So
but.
I would say, Brad Pitt's character is hilarious. I loved his character. He was the best part of this movie. And like,
For me, it was Radcliffe.
Radcliffe was
I would say
fine.
Radcliffe.
He was fine, but he was so generic at times that it pissed me off.
I will say this: he did an amazing job with a terrible script.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I will go.
Yes.
I
Look,
I will
it's
definitely make the best out of it.
played the same villain in 30 different movies. You had to try and put a swing on it in some way.
Well, let me just ask you, what else has he done something like this? Because I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
No,
which ones?
I mean, he was a bad guy in Now You See Me Too. With
I was gonna say, I was like,
okay.
wasn't he in bad guy in that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just watched the one where it was Ruffalo, so I didn't watch the second one.
Was he a
Yeah.
bad guy in Horns?
kind of. He was like an anti-hero.
He's been
I
in a
have
lot
seen
of
Horns.
smaller stuff.
I have seen that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
he's
I mean,
been trying to shed the Harry Potter.
Right.
And truthfully, I think he's getting
unsuccessfully.
there. I think he's getting
No,
there.
he's not.
Yeah,
Well,
He's not.
you're not giving him any credit though. So
I think he's getting some of an identity, at least more in like a comedic sense. Like I think like this movie will be like overall like a plus for him. He's on
Yeah.
this TBS show that people like too.
Oh yeah, I got to
Angels
check that out because it's
What
made
is
by
it?
the Miracle Workers. There's
Oh,
two
yeah,
seasons.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
made by
Steve
the same
Buscemi.
guy who did Man for Seeking Woman.
Okay, and
I
you
really like that show.
Yeah. I have to say about this movie though. Speaking about like how I feel like the secondary characters are the good ones. So the villain Brad Pitt. I liked the agent lady or publicist lady. She wasn't bad. The problem, oh my God, it pissed me off. The social media lady.
The generic.
Oh my
Okay.
God, where everything was hashtag Shawn Mendes. I was
Like
like,
the-
why is
the
that a joke? It's not
the
funny.
same joke they've done in like 20 different
Yeah,
movies.
it's like, that's not funny. And then you have Channing Tatum and you have Sandra Bullock playing the character that they've played in every single movie ever, but like a watered down version of it,
and
where
they're
she's
not
like,
really trying.
yeah, where she's like super clumsy and quirky and like weird and stuff. Like, oh yeah, so she's playing a Sandra Bullock character, and then he's playing a meathead who's like an idiot. Like, wow, I've never seen either of these people play this character before, and the fact that it relied so heavily on them and their chemistry that did not exist,
Oh yeah.
and then somehow end up at the end in love. How?
Not like
Yeah.
Romancing the Stone, let me tell you. No Danny DeVito in this movie either.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But there's also this element with her character where it's like we mentioned earlier with the husband, where I'm like, why does she have a dead husband in this? It like almost feels kind of like regressive in the sense where they're like, well, she's a woman, so she's got to have this archaeologist husband to explain why she knows this stuff.
No, but I think it's just like she can't be an archaeologist and a trashy novelist.
Yeah.
Like,
But they had the plot there to do it, where
Yeah.
it was like, oh, no one was buying my books, so I just started writing these trashy
Right.
novelists.
oh, did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was there, and I was
Again.
like, okay, why do you have both?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's.
I'm just
you're
a
not
trashy
wrong.
archaeologist. You know? I don't know. This movie didn't understand what it wanted to be or need to be, and it was just like all over the place. And the fact that the leads could not carry this is just the worst part.
I don't know if it's necessarily. I think it's more just it wasn't good. Like
Yeah.
I know that sounds super reductive, but I think
Right.
like it knew like I think it was like very specific. It just like wasn't, you know. I think you're right though when you're like you need like the chemistry, you need the two leads to like knock it out of the park for like a movie like this to work, and it just wasn't there. And this is
You
like
need
clearly,
characters that I can actually care
Yeah.
about.
Like Oscar from The Office, who plays Oscar in this, because apparently he can only play people
Right.
who are, you know, have the same name as him. But
it's a contract issue.
yeah, but like I didn't
Well,
mind
his name
him.
is also Oscar too.
Yeah, I know. In real life, his name's Oscar.
It's a triple Oscar.
Yeah, but like he wasn't bad. I like he
Yeah,
was.
but like at the same time,
bizarrely
I
funny.
was sitting there like, and you're here, why?
Yeah. No, he was so out of place. There was no reason for him to be there. But I was like, you know what? You're better than the two leads. So like, I'm fine with this. Like, I was okay with him. Like, just yeah, bring in weird characters because everyone else isn't working.
Just shovel in more weird characters
Yeah.
so you fix the
Or
problem.
like the publicist lady. She's like, you haven't killed anybody before, and he's like, guys. No, and she's like, I don't like how you hesitated on that answer, but I'm gonna trust you anyways.
Yeah, Chris, what? I don't think we need to spend super long time, but what were your thoughts on this?
Nah,
movie?
just it was the same. It was the same. It was awful.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't
I
great.
have to
Look, there's only one other movie this year so far that I spent more time on my phone watching than this, and that was Uncharted. So this is not.
Oof.
I'll tell
is
you,
not
I
that
mean-
far from that.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm putting it in the bin of like date movies of like, well, if forced to, this wouldn't be the worst thing to sit in front of for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't think the investment's
Do you,
really there.
do you guys want to hear something horrible about this movie?
They're making 4 more.
I wish. I hope that's not the news. No, this is a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 60% Metascore.
Yeah, I can see that.
I could see a 60% Metascore.
Metascore, but 79% Rotten Tomatoes.
But I think it's like, sure.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
think,
think
I
it's,
think it's a weak 79.
It's,
This didn't-
It's
kind of-
definitely a weak.
This
79.
didn't leave me with like a bad. I know it wasn't great, but it didn't leave me with a bad taste in my mouth.
I'll
some
say
reason-
this.
It didn't.
Yeah. And also, I think what plays into it, I wasn't expecting a lot either.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Low bar,
Expectations
and
were
it-
low. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. I've been trying to think like what could fix this movie, and
It's the
I
leads.
keep coming back to like Thor versus the second Thor versus the third one, and like you just let Chris Hemsworth go wild with comedy, and I keep thinking, did they really try and let Channing Tatum go wild, or is he just not funny?
I mean, he was in the 21 Jump Street movies, which were
granted
funny. I haven't seen,
were funny.
but
No,
like I've
he can
heard
be
great
funny.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that he can be really
he can
funny.
be funny. So I'm
Not
I'm
a fan of
And
him.
he's
That's
like
why I haven't
he's like a
seen him.
decent actor too. Like I mean, you guys are gonna laugh when I say it, but like he's good in like Magic Mike. He's good in other stuff too.
Yeah,
good
he's
in,
not. He's not bad.
What's the one? The
Foxcatcher?
Step Up.
no, I can't think of the name of the hillbilly Ocean's 11 one. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Hillbilly Ocean 11.
Yeah, where they robbed the
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky.
Oh, Logan Lucky. Yeah.
I mean, he's not like bad. It's just I don't know if it's on the director who just didn't let him go for it, or
Yeah.
like I don't know.
It just
I'm
felt
trying to
like everybody
find fault.
was just phoning it in.
Yeah, it was a bad script.
I feel and on that note, this is I haven't seen this combination before. This had 4 screenwriters or screenplays by
Yeah.
and another person for story. And then
God.
when I was looking through Letterboxd today, just on like reviews, the first one I saw was the guy saying like I did punch up on this, i.e. I was like an uncredited screenwriter. So like this thing had been kicking and around and not surprised.
I'm
would
not surprised.
Not surprised
Not
at
surprised
all
at
by
all.
that. So
God.
yeah.
Look, whatever. I mean, I think they just lucked out and spent $60 million, and they ended up with a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
It did okay.
It's a mediocre movie that really didn't go up against too much, and people are starting to go back to the theaters.
Yeah,
Got to see something, guys.
Yeah, true. We need numbers. Let's get numbers out there. 'cause
We
it's
do.
getting freaking
I went
long.
with a 6.2.
I'm gonna go 5.9. I really didn't care for this.
5-4.
6, 7.
Really did not care for this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's end on a high note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very high note.
A movie that
High note.
oh wow.
What the writers must have been doing when they wrote this film. A very high note. Everything,
of,
everywhere, all at once.
Speaking of weird Daniel Radcliffe movies, by the directors who did Swiss Army Knife. Ah, man.
I didn't know that.
This is the previous movie they worked together on.
No one's here. Have you seen that one?
I know.
I've
heard
meant
it's
to.
yeah.
It's bizarre.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
And I can see
farting
I
corpse with
could,
an
I could believe
erection.
that. Yeah. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. A 5-word title, directed by the directing team and written by call themselves Daniels, which is 2 guys named Dan.
Yeah.
I should be professional, probably have their last names, but now we're good. Sam and I saw this originally back in March in an IMAX setting.
Yeah.
Pretty good screening, I would say. Like the people around us and everything. One of the better ones I've had in a long time, especially with COVID. And then Sean, you two both saw it.
Yeah,
again.
Sam tagged along with me to go see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said before, we're trying to do every Tuesday go see a different movie,
Mm-hmm.
which has been very successful so far. I would say the most memorable part of going to see this is watching Doctor Strange in Spanish.
When did that happen?
The trailers.
The
First trailer.
All the trailer was
No, so just that trailer was in Spanish, and I'm sitting there, and like I took out my ticket. I was like, "Is this the Spanish viewing of this?" I was like, "What's going?" And then a guy gets up in the front, walks over to us, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys know why this is in Spanish?" We're like, "We have no idea."
I
was
believe my reaction was, I don't know, but I'm vibing this.
Yeah.
I mean, for a trailer about a multiverse movie while you're seeing another multiverse
Yeah.
movie, it's like very on brand.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row we're good. We're dipping our toes back in the multiverse.
Yeah.
And then we had a Jurassic Park trailer that wasn't in Spanish.
Yeah.
I was hoping they
La Raptor.
I was hoping the Raptors would be like, La roar, la roar.
Anyways, yeah.
Chris Pratt just going, ay, ay, ay. Los Raptors!
Anyways, no, yeah. So that's how the whole thing. I think there were only like 3 people other than us in the theater, which was like really
It was a
cool.
small crowd.
Decent 1 o'clock showing or whenever you guys want.
Yeah, 1:45. But yeah, I sat down. One thing I wasn't prepared for in this movie was the amount of Mandarin that they speak in it.
Yes.
A lot of.
You kind of like set the table of what the movie is, what it's about.
So
sort of.
it's about just a woman who lives above a laundromat, owns a laundromat. First time you are introduced to the husband, he's walking around with papers trying to talk to her. It turns out they're divorce papers. You find that out in like the first 5 minutes. She's got a daughter who is gay, and they're getting ready for Chinese New Year. And the woman's dad lives with them, and it's just her trying to juggle like they're getting audited too. So she's trying to juggle organizing that with being a good daughter and making food for her dad and running the laundromat in the first floor of the house. And that's like her life. And it's not until they go to the office to get audited that things get a little weird.
Sure, there's a turn.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a bit of a turn.
Just a little bit where
It's subtle, but
where adult short round just goes, huh, and he's somebody different.
Well, we should say husband played by, oh God, I don't have his name. Hasn't, well, I guess he was in the Goonies too, but
Yeah.
you would know him as Short Round.
From Indy.
Dr. Jones is sidekick in Temple of Doom.
Yes.
who quit acting for like 20 years.
Came back and sounds the same.
Came back.
Sounds weird.
He has a very high-pitched voice still,
Yes.
which like when I heard him talking in the beginning, I was like, who's talking? That couldn't be the guy. And then I remember you guys mentioning like, oh, Short Round was the husband in this. And I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God. That's
I know.
like, he sounds like exactly the same. Just like a little bit of a deeper voice. Slightly.
Yeah, but even like the way he talks.
Yeah.
Is like still kind of Short Roundy, which was funny.
Yeah.
And obviously, Michelle Yeoh plays the main character's name. I can't even remember.
Evelyn?
Evelyn, yes.
Evelyn Chow. Right? Chow.
Yeah, who you would most recently know from Shang-Chi and what else she was in
She's
before
been
that?
in
She
so
was in
much.
one of the James Bonds.
Yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich
Yep.
Asians. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
And she looks great for, I think she's almost
She's
60.
she's in her late 50s. She looks
Yeah,
amazing.
she's like behind Jackie Chan, like the staple of the Hong Kong scene.
Yeah.
The film scene.
Which short tangent. Apparently after doing a movie in the 90s, like it was like Stuntman or something like that, she severely injured her back and she like contemplated quitting acting. And then she met with Tarantino, who like he went over to China to talk with like Jet Li and Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh about kung fu because he's
He
a
loves it,
massive
yeah.
kung fu like fan, and just sitting down and talking to him about kung fu, she was like, "Oh no, I gotta get right back on the horse. Like I gotta do this again." Like, and so like it's just weird that Tarantino made her get back into acting. It's so weird.
Yeah, she's never been in one of his movies either. Which
No.
is, you would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, guys.
Yeah. There are moments where this movie it's like I would say for the most part it's tame and you can understand where it's kind of like what's going on.
Yes.
And then there's moments, especially I would say closer to the third act, where it's just like, what?
I feel like in the macro, I always understand what's going on.
Yes,
I feel
yes.
like, first off, and this does not make a good podcast at all, maybe one of the hardest movies to describe. I mean,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
to just give you like the sort of overall thing, she is being sort of drafted into this multiversal fight between this sort of like dark entity that has come to actually kind of sounds like the other one when you think about it.
What? Oh, yeah. It's a very generic. If you boil it all down, it's a chosen one kind of story where it's
Right.
like, if you're the chosen one,
If I
need you to
couldn't
help.
spoil anything, yeah, it's kind of a hard sell where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this sounds like the most
Oh, yeah.
generic multiverse movie. But then, like, but if I could spoil it, it's like, yeah, but it's more than that.
Oh, so much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's multiversal, but also with a very strong element of like shit posting and like the types of worlds we see
Yeah.
where one of them is, what is it, where their fingers are all hot dogs?
Yeah.
Yes. Which, okay, so weird that of all the stories or all the worlds that we get to, the Hot Dog Fingers universe has such an amazing story between like the love story between Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis's character
Right.
as
Who
lovers.
plays the auditor.
Who plays the
He's
auditor,
sort
but in
of-
this world
right.
they're lovers, and like it's heartbreaking but also heartwarming towards the end
Yeah.
of like everything that happens in that universe. Like it's the best story, but they have hot dog fingers.
Right. Yeah, see, like,
It's insane to like even say it, but
it
like
really goes for it with the multiverse. I mean, I think our critique, or my critique last week of Doctor Strange was like, oh, the best you could do is pizza balls.
yeah,
This is not the same problem at all.
No.
No.
We've got one where they're rocks, and the thing is too, all these are ridiculous, but they all actually like they're not just bits.
right.
They have a
like-
purpose in the story.
Right.
yes.
There's one where somebody like mispronounces ratatouille.
Yeah,
Raccacoonie.
Michelle, she's like trying to describe to her family like what's going on and like why other people from other universes are controlling their body.
Right.
It's just like that movie with the raccoon.
It's the Raccacoonie. They're like, what? They're like, Raccacoonie is like good cook and bad cook and all it makes a good. They're like, are you trying to say Ratatouille? She's like, no, Raccacoonie with the raccoon. And then there's a universe where there's a Raccacoonie controlling a hibachi chef. And
It's
like,
hilarious. And like the raccoon, like, I mean, we don't want to give it all away, but
No.
like it's. I loved how it just everything was like went there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it's one that like I can like watch. It's gonna be interesting. I'll probably buy it when it comes on rental, but I feel like this is more of one I'm gonna watch like bits of than the whole thing again.
Okay.
Just because it's like not like a draining sort of movie, but it's just like
There's a
there's a
lot.
lot there.
Yeah,
it's
there's a
it's
lot.
it's a real trek through the whole thing.
Yeah.
yes.
And like there's a wide range of emotions too. Like there's times where it's hilarious, and like I've seen some pushback of people like not liking it, and I think it's just I think sometimes the comedy's just like not going to work for some people. For me, it wasn't the case. For me, I
Yeah.
just really enjoyed it.
I mean, like, how do you not? I mean, this is the way this podcast is going, but like, how do you not enjoy a well choreographed butt plug fight?
Right. Exactly.
And without any context, that is the best
how do you
butt
not-
plug fight choreographed I've ever seen.
How do you not enjoy watching a man get beaten to death with dildos? I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
And what I also found pretty cool about it too is that the language, so to speak, the movie speaks in is like, you know, like part of this is like kind of like the Matrix, you know, where we inhabit other people's bodies and learn their skills. Just like how in that, you know, in the Matrix, it's like, oh, you know, you download the files or whatever.
Right,
or
Yeah.
you're kind of like jumping between things, and you know, you got to use the little,
Yeah.
the I can't
The
think of what it's
Bluetooth?
called. Yeah, the Bluetooth,
Yeah.
the Bluetooth headphone. You know, I liked how it was. There's a lot of like references there. There's that whole one where she's a movie star.
Which it's essentially this world, like our universe, is
Yeah.
what we see, because you see a lot
I mean,
of
you
like,
see a lot of clips from this
from this,
actual
yeah.
universe.
So, like, her
you're
on the
right.
red carpet
Yes,
and
you're right.
whatnot.
And they use actual stock footage of
Yeah.
like her
Yeah.
at like premieres and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And that's got a lot of vibes of some other Hong Kong movies I've seen. Yeah, it's
But like that whole story, very touching
yeah.
because it's about like, you know, oh, they're both very successful, but they have that regret of not
Yeah.
getting together.
Right. And that's sort of what the general sort of like tension of like, I mean, obviously then there's a lot with her daughter, as the daughter is kind of revealed to be like the big bad. But, you know, even like her relationship with her husband, you know, a lot of it is like, kind of sucks the way all this ended up. I mean, like you do get the sense that like their life is kind of miserable.
Well,
I mean, like they have each other, but like,
I mean, spoiler alert, but they come to the conclusion that the reason why this Evelyn is the chosen one is because she is the worst possible.
She's
self.
living her worst life.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like it's like the worst possible life she can live. And so like yeah, like her relationship with her husband is crap. I love the line where like it flashbacks to her birth and the doctor's like, "It's a girl. I'm so sorry." Like oh man, like it's just like this movie. It's so many layers and so much happens, and all the universes have their own stories that are happening at the same time.
But
and
it all
melds together. But like you have to pick, like you have to like pick around. And so you're like I mentioned the hot dog fingers universe, where like you have to pay attention to just that universe to understand the story that's happening. Where it's like shit that there's tension between the two, and then she moves out, but then like Yao comes back, and then they fall in love, and they're playing piano with their toes.
Right, because their fingers don't.
Yeah,
work.
because the fingers don't work, and there's like the weird like romantic scenes like in the movie and the fake movie in the movie, and like in real life where they're just like, I guess like mouthing each other's hot dog fingers,
like
and there's like
ketchup
mustard and ketchup everywhere, and they're like like. It's so weird, but it's so touching at the same time. It's like, oh, they're in love again. Like,
so, like, this movie is like, it's a bit weird because it's like they're arguing against nihilism by making a sort of nihilistic argument. Because their whole thing is like nothing matters, so that's why everything has to matter.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it's like, and like that vibes with me very much. So like I'm really digging that whole like the through line through this whole thing where it's like, yeah, nothing matters, but like that's why everything has to matter.
Yeah.
I like to the I didn't catch this until someone brought it up, but the the googly eyes.
Yeah.
And how that's the exact opposite of the everything bagel.
Yeah.
How one is white and black, the other's black and
Black and
white.
white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one way that the husband brings
Oh, yeah,
joy
and
into the
there's
universe.
also an everything bagel.
Yes.
An everything bagel.
Bagel. It has everything on it.
I just
Everything.
I just love the line. Like I like at that point where like the daughter like they just cut back to the daughter. It's like, Evelyn, bagel. It's just like
Yeah.
such a weird line, but like it just works.
Yeah,
so well.
it's well written for the characters, where the two parent characters and even the grandfather are written a certain way, and the way that the daughter's written is just completely different. The way she acts, like she would act like I would expect her to act. Like in real life, such a contrast between the parents and her, and it's so, oh my god, it's so great. I mean, the acting in this movie is amazing. Like it's so much about this. I can't praise this movie enough.
It's funny too because there's just the contrast you'll get of like these like really like touching and emotional scenes, but then just like we said, like butt plug fight.
yeah.
Like and then kind of like combining the two like very close to each other and just like
even sometimes when it's like kind of both, it's like the Ratatouille thing
Yes.
where it's like
kind of also touching.
it's like
too,
it's kind of touching because
because
like
then
he's
she
so
gets on his
attached,
head.
she's so attached to the Ratatouille, and then they go try to rescue Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. I have to say, I was like, so one of the things that I usually do is I'll listen to the soundtrack after I watch a movie. So I did listen to the soundtrack, and mind you, the song Ratatouille and the guy sings, that is on the soundtrack. And I remember sitting at work, like doing my work, and being like, what the hell is playing? And then like they start singing about cooking, and I just put my head down, and my boss was like, what are you talking about? And the only thing he knows, I didn't tell him too much, but the thing that sold him on this movie was Ratatouille. Not like describing what Ratatouille.
You just said Ratatouille.
The term Ratatouille, and it's a raccoon as Ratatouille. He's like, that is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life. He's like, I need to see this movie now.
Or just like I remember seeing this in the credits. This is actually credited as one of the songs, but that Story of a Girl.
Yeah.
They just mentioned some of the lines in it because your hair doesn't quite fall quite the same way.
And there's even a lot of like just like Easter eggs and stuff they come back to, and like running gags. They're just really, it's just an incredible experience. Like it's honestly one of the most unique films I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, as we're wrapping this up, this is the last thing I really want to mention. I want your inputs. Isn't this what Doctor Strange should have been?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you guys this: rank the multiverse
movies. So the three.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, or this.
Yes.
Spider-Man's number one.
Okay. I disagree, but
No, yeah, that's fine.
As a Spider-Man fan, Sean, I disagree.
That's fine. I loved that movie.
But Doctor Strange is the last.
Oh,
in any
sorry.
case.
We have 4 multiverse movies. Sorry, 2 Spider-Mans.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is number 1 for me. It did win an Oscar.
I know. It's just this is so good.
It is really good, and Chris, if you ever see this movie, it's gonna melt your brain.
I told you.
It's like
I'm like, here's the thing, Chris. I think there's an outside chance you will enjoy this.
Yes. I put the way I described this initially to my boss is, the final scene in 2001: A Space Odyssey? What if they made a 2-hour movie about it, but there was comedy involved? Where it's like, I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I think I know what's happening, but it's like so out there batshit crazy that it could melt your brain.
Imagine if
I wouldn't sell Chris on it that way, but
if you throw
I
in
think
2001, I'll never watch it.
I know that was poison. The one thing I'll say too, I don't know how much longer this will be in theaters. If you're interested in all in seeing it, it's a fantastic. Like, sit there, give it your attention.
Yeah,
don't be on the phone.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
like
God,
I think
no.
you just. There's some movies where you can get by and do that. This really isn't one of them.
No.
So even if you end up watching it at home, just go in like
Turn the phone off.
right. Give it a night.
Yeah.
You know.
It's 2 hours and I think like 15 minutes. I will admit there are a few points where it feels like it's dragging, but it all has a purpose. Everything has a purpose in this movie.
I will say this. I had a similar thought to what you said there, Sean, where I was like, this is kind of a cross between that last scene in 2001: A Space Odyssey and like Lady Bird from the mom's perspective together.
Okay. Yeah.
Sam, what any takeaways on a second watch?
Still held up.
Okay.
I think.
Did you anything that stuck out more? Or?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like, I think I laughed less, but it's just because I've seen these jokes before.
I did have a sense of watching it the first time that there might be like a second rewatch, like an Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg kind of like
Picking up on things.
There's a few.
Okay.
Like,
but there's not a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like
yeah. Like, I remember them sitting in the conference room and they start eating everything bagels.
Oh, okay.
And it's before the bagels get brought up.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's right. Yeah, they're like, ooh, bagels.
Yeah.
The cow has been extinct for, yeah.
All right. Well, we have a very long episode.
We do.
Here, so let's
sorry about that.
Give us. We covered a lot.
Yeah.
We did 3 movies.
What's the score, Sean?
I went first last time.
All right.
I'll go first. 9-5.
What?
This movie just it hit a nerve.
It spoke to you.
I'm gonna say 9-3.
Wow. I was like, I might be going a little high with an 8-6, but like,
Oh
wow.
damn.
Sean,
Yeah.
this
No,
is
it's
right up my alley.
It's really good. I
I just feel like we don't get these.
Yeah.
every
we
day
don't.
either.
This is so unique and so different
and
but
so well put together.
so well made.
Yeah.
From top to bottom. Like, I cannot sit here and be like, oh, this was the weakest link. Like, there was no weak link in this movie. Everything was just spot on. I love the cops though. Like the first scene where he's like hitting them with the fanny
like
pack.
the rent-a-cop guys,
Yeah,
the
and
security
like
guys.
he's like, huh, oh fuck, right, and then gets hit.
Oh,
Yeah.
and even like as crazy it is too, like the fights are done well.
Yeah.
like they're
Well
they're
choreographed.
specifically comedic when they need to be, but
Yep.
they're actually like really well choreographed.
Like the butt plug fight.
yeah.
Where all of a sudden I'm assuming he's French Polynesian, but like that dude, like, well, he looks like
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
But like he like comes out of nowhere and it's just like all blurred down in the nether region, and he's just holding his legs up, going ah, and just lands on the butt plug. And out of context, if you've not seen this movie, you'd be like, "What?" But trust me, it makes sense.
In context, your reaction is, "Oh no!"
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
He
but-
got the butt plug. Oh no!
Yeah.
And I will say the reason why they're doing the butt plug, not to explain it, but there's a specific reason of a framework
Yes.
of the story, and like it all works together really well.
Yeah.
Like it's well thought out. Like we
Yeah.
were just
Yep.
we had a long segment about going through all the like little stuff with Halo, like all the little details here for a movie that's so expansive
Yeah.
are still nailed, and
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
great,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yep. I agree. All right. Yeah. So I guess we really like this movie.
Oh, I love
Been
this.
waiting to talk about it, bud.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Oh
know,
yeah.
I
I've
know.
been sitting on this for months.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for just now being like, yeah, I'll go to movies every Tuesday.
That's why I was kept being like, we should see this. We
Yeah.
should see this.
Well, we got some choices for next week. Anyway, so any final thoughts, guys?
This is amazing.
No, there was a whole Star Wars article we didn't talk about.
No,
that we can
no,
talk
we
about.
can't- we
no.
can't.
At
We can't. Not-
Obi-Wan. Yeah. Oh no, we're not tonight.
No.
Anyway, if you like our show, you can leave us a review, like us on Facebook. We're on YouTube for podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Until next time when we talk about Obi-Wan and some other stuff.
Bye.
Adios.